Next, I'd like to talk about a person named Jason Call, one of my local congressional candidates and my local Democrat PCO, who I asked and begged for help from on this issue for injured workers and a federal oversight for our injured workers, and he called me unhinged. And he told others that Darren is unable to work with others. Well, before workers' comp, I worked really well with others and was even accommodated with an employee of the month about 6 months before I was hurt on the job, young Jason Call. And when people are willing to work with me and willing to put our issues on the table, not just be a distraction from the issues that need to be on the table, I work very well with those kind of people when they're not trying to be basically two-faced with the injured workers of America. So for those candidates and congressional candidates to say I don't work well with people, I worked very well with patients from both sides of the aisle for 15 years. For the last 30 years of a working career of construction, 15 years before that, but for 15 years of it, I worked very well with people, and for 30 years I worked very well with people. I became in construction, the construction foreman. I always worked my way up. So it's baffling to me when I have young people running for Congress, even teaching our schools, going to say I'm unhinged and I'm unable to work with people, when none of the people from the Bernie-crat coalition or the Democrats wanted to put my injured workers' federal human rights issue on the table with our cries for Medicare for all.
University of Washington Medical Center. Employee of the Month 2010. The Employee of the Month award is presented monthly to a UWMC staff member who exemplifies our ARISE values. Darren Fonciao. Hospital Assistant. Resource Team. Fluid Pool. Accountability. Darren can be counted upon to care for acutely ill patients by taking accurate measurements and documenting this data so providers can make decisions about a patient's care. He does not need to be reminded to implement interventions known to prevent harm to patients within his scope of practice. He can be counted upon to take initiative when caught up with his assigned tasks to look around and find things that need to be done. Respect. Darren represents how to show respect to patients and families at UWMC. I have observed him interact with several patients when he has worked on 7NE. One patient was confused and required close monitoring for safety concerns. Darren was very gentle and respectful when caring for this patient and was very mindful of their dignity. His interactions with other UWMC staff are always professional. Innovation. Referencing the confused patient with whom Darren worked for at least 3 shifts, he was creative in adjusting his interactions when caring for this patient in a way that created a calm environment. 2 different RNs working with this patient mentioned to me that the patient was so much calmer when Darren came on shift. Service. By the above example, Darren exemplifies the type of service we would like to see provided by all UWMC employees. Several RNs that have worked with Darren and I have observed him in action and would love to clone him. Excellence. Darren does not do just the minimum that is required for safely caring for acutely ill patients at UWMC. He communicates respectfully with other members of the interdisciplinary team, and we are confident in his skills and know he will ask questions or express concerns if he has them. Any patients and family members that interact with Darren will feel well cared for and feel they have had a positive experience at UWMC.
Well, about that, Jason Call. Before I got hurt on the job, but they wanted to clone me because of my ability to work with others so well. It's amazing what a work comp war can do to a man. Maybe it's something you might want to learn about. Also, Jason Call, when 2015 and I sought your help and Jason Call's help and the Bernie-crats' help as I was trying to go up against the corporate Dems in our state that do not want to address a war on injured workers because the Alec Republicans aren't going to address it. Corporate Dems don't want to address it, so I needed you guys to help me address this issue for my injured workers, an issue that Senator Sanders had written a letter in 2015 and told us we need these minimum federal standards. So I came to you with that letter, hat in hand, to get some help from my class of human beings that are having a war waged on us that you guys don't want to acknowledge. This is what people were saying about me back in 2015, Jason Call, as I was screaming out for your help and trying to get other candidates to, like Rosa Calderon, to speak up and help us, which she did speak up and speak truth about a war on injured workers. But that's all we got was Rosa. One voice out of all the Bernie crafts across this nation that can speak up and tell us the truth as a war is waged on our injured workers. Anyways, I'd like you to listen to what this injured worker had to say about me, Jason Call, as you're running around telling everybody not to listen to me, and Tyler Vega, and David Strider, and Gigi Ferguson, and all the other lawmakers, even the ones entrenched already, like Mike Sells and, oh shoot, all the rest of them. I mean, Patty Murray even could speak up, and she's been silent, even though she signed the letter that Sanders signed, and they can't say a word to help out injured workers. There's something wrong with that. But anyways, it's all these people who are going around not helping me put my issue on the table. Maybe injured workers go unhinged, Jason Call, because the people who should be helping us get our issue on the table refuse to help put our issue on the table. Let's listen to what an injured worker had to say about Darren Franceau as he was nominated for the Cum de Laude Awards for Work Comp Central out of California. This is what other people are seeing, Jason, where you were trying to knock me down, and Larry Elger, the Justice Network, Larry Elger, who was David Strider's congressional aide, told everybody I had PTSD and not to listen to me. I'm sorry. You need to listen to us old men with PTSD, not blow us off. It's been done for 6 years now, as I have begged for the minimum federal standards that we were told we need from Senator Sanders in 2015. Listen to what others say about me. This ain't me saying this. This is somebody else saying this, Jason Cole. And Bernie Crat friends and our revolution who refuse to help.
Complot Trademark Awards and Gala nominee confirmation. Thank you for taking the time to nominate someone for a Complot Trademark Award. Please review the information you have provided. Nominee type, person first name, Darren last name, phone Xiao title, work comp survivor, musician employer, volunteer human/civil/patient/consumer and workers' rights email, darrenfonzso@yahoo.com category, injured worker comp laud. Years known, 1 to 3 years. Accomplishment 1. Work comp survivor state of Washington and advocate for injured workers via social media and music, along with direct contact with state officials. Accomplishment 2. Work comp survivor provides encouragement to other injured workers, and food for thought to work compsters, via very creative ways and means. Accomplishment 3. Frequent commentator to DePaulo's work comp world, with always respectful, always thought-provoking thoughts, and always with expressed appreciation for the work of David Paulo and the Work Comp Central crews. Why this nominee deserves a Complot Trademark Award. Darren is a tireless work comp survivor and advocate of what is good and true. While his LinkedIn profile states his education as uneducated, the School of Hard Knocks, human/civil/patient/consumer/ and workers' rights volunteer advocate, Darren is smart and sharp and skilled at maneuvering through alligator swamp type environments of workers' compensation. His music clearly gives his soul solace, and gives encouragement and pleasure to the injured worker communities and others, and gives cause to pause for thought to the work compsters. At times, when I am feeling quite discouraged and fed up with the criminality of work compsters and the war on workers, I see Darren's posts or songs on social media, I pause and read or listen, and then find myself renewed to fight the good fight another day. Nobody should have to fight work compsters for decent medical care and benefits, and it is the job of the Department of Justice to fight the fraud, corruption, and outright crimes against injured workers in America. You can help, too. Help injured workers fight the good fight. Acknowledge the persistent and courageous efforts of injured workers everywhere. Acknowledge Darren Fonzo. Listen up, Reverb Nation. Darren Rayfon Xiao.
Welcome back. Tom Hartman here with you, and it's Anything Goes Friday. Darren in Everett, Washington, watching us on Facebook Live. Hey, Darren, what's up?
Hey, I want to talk about a war on injured workers and how it's adding to homelessness and inequality here in America. That back in 2015, OSHA and Senator Sanders and NPR all told us, and the U.S. Department of Labor with Tom Perez all come out and told us we need some minimum federal standards over these broken state work comp systems. Yet 3 years later, the left is silent, and I'm begging for help here as an injured worker in the state of Washington who has been abused and harmed. Yet I have our revolution not wanting to put this issue and Senator Sanders' solutions on the table. And I would like to know why the left basically is failing us at this time.
I don't know the answer to your question, Darren, and I'm sorry to hear about your circumstances. I hope you get through it. I'm sorry, I don't know. Paul in Sparta, Wisconsin. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind today?
Thanks for.
So this is from Darren. Darren's very passionate about this, and I think I've simplified his basic question, but it really stems about how we are letting down our injured workers. And she's wondering, do you support Senator Sanders' call for federal oversight of state work comp systems? Feels like we are really letting our injured workers down in California. I wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, so, in California, we have a lot of issues that I think that most people just keep saying they're state issues. But I think at the federal level, there is always something that we can do. And that is always done by incentives, right? Here in California, I used to work in construction, and I used to see how workman's comp used to work. In fact, my boyfriend, he's actually one of the people who was injured here in California. And after you meet a certain amount of days, you're kicked off the program. So you either you're rushed to either settle with the company that you were hurt with. And the deals aren't really there. And there's really no support at the state level to guide you through the process. And so there's really no oversight. I mean, so a lot of these companies are getting away with really murder. They're paying out people for fractures to their spine, at $10,000, $17,000 when they know that the lifelong care is going to be well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's just one of the reasons why I support Medicare expansion for all, so that people are not stuck with these enormous bills that they're going to have to fork out of nowhere. I mean, the amount that people are being charged for doctor visits and follow-ups are absurd, and no one can afford them. So it just leaves more room for more injuries in the future. And I believe that we can have some real progress if the federal decides to have oversight at every state. And I'm telling you that because California has higher standards than other states. So I can't imagine what's happening in other states.
Yeah. Wow.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios. It's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. Talk news that works from the people who go to work. The fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. News, progress, and workplace politics. Now here's your host, Chris.
Other comments, my good friend Darren from, where's he from again?
Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Here's his dumps. Where's his dumps? You got his dumps? Can you get his dumps going? You got a few of those dumps, right?
No,
we lost him?
Chris LaGrange, you're a mother.
Oh, yeah, they're right on
those
there.
dumps.
I thought you wanted me to add something new. You want me to?
No. Where are they? I can't find them. There's so many here. So this guy is commenting now.
Yes.
This guy. That guy is commenting.
Be honest with labor, prick.
Where's the one where he called me a really bad word?
Chris LaGrange, you're a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's my friend from Washington. You said he was in jail?
I don't know. He started commenting again, saying that he was out of jail. I don't know if he was talking about Facebook jail or what, but.
So that guy, what is he saying? This nut.
All right. So when we were talking about the NLRB, he said Trump and his deregulation is harming injured workers. Obama put in a presidential order to track on-the-job injuries. Trump took it away. Yet our own Democrats fail to fight for something. Injured workers.
I know the Democrats should do what the laborers did. All get together and start screaming and yelling at the White House.
Non-stop.
They should fight like Parliament.
Occupy Trump Tower.
I bet you Mitch McConnell will go down like this. Anyway, what else is Darren saying?
Okay, so when we were talking about the opioid crisis, he said you cannot address the opioid crisis without addressing the class war on American injured workers.
He's
His
right.
sister died from OD last year, and he said if we do not address a broken workers' comp system, we're not addressing 25%.
And even though Darren's nuts,
suicides.
and he called me his bitch and get honest, right?
You get honest with labor, prick.
I mean, I'm not prick
he
now.
says he was in real jail.
Oh, he was in real
continuing to
jail?
Comment.
He's in real. Darren, call in 631-969-9599. We want to hear about why you were in real jail, and please don't hurt me. All right, we'll get him on the phone and figure that out. But he is right. We need to, if we start realizing that a pathway to drugs is not just depression, because your dad didn't call you on your birthday, but it's stuff like, yeah, I got hurt on the job and my back hurts and I can't get these opiates anymore. Nothing's really working. Let me try some heroin. I hear that works. Next thing you know, you're dead in a ditch.
Injured workers more, and when you do workers more, and when you do more for injured workers. There.
Yes. And we got to get Tyler elected first before he can do anything about him. When he's elected is when we really hold the feet to the fire. Holding his feet to the fire now that's distracting from the bigger purpose of getting a progressive elected in office and getting things like this into place. So we totally hear you, Darren. We hear you. We've read all your comments on the videos. We know that that's super important. We're trying to get people in place that can deal with that. So be here now.
That's a prefix for this whole thing.
Yes.
We've got to do this when they're in office. We've got to do this when they're in office.
So we've got to get them in office. Yeah, and you can't have them have their entire platform and everything all worked out. Tyler said more than once during his interview, he's going to do what his constituents tell him and ask him, and what he's not going to be bossed by corporations. But he's got to get elected first before he has that mandate. So let's concentrate on that. Yeah. And same with all of our the candidates, and not just Washington.
Right. We hear you in all caps, Darren. Honestly, we do. And Phil, I know Sea Shepherd didn't go out. I forget the reason. I don't know why.
corporocracy.